Okay, let's start making a state machine, shall we? I've already gone up and set some states for us that make our lives a bit easier, but these transitions are going to use the on button click for the transition between our states. So what I got is basically 3 canvases, one title screen, one inside the play mode canvas, and the other one's going to be when you're like loading or quitting the canvas. So we can have basically 3 states. 2 normal states here and 1 any state. Let's get started. So continuing on from where I left off, all these transitions should be hooked up. Now we just got to do the actual logic for them. So on the title screen, so on state enter, we got to make sure we enable all of the canvas groups alphas to 1 if our we gotta reset the others to 0 if it's not the one we don't want to be on. So first of all, set these to 0. I can copy from the awake as well to make our job a bit faster. Okay. And now we want to do the element 0. These exact 3. Okay, alpha to 1. Sorry, stupid mistake on my part. We need to get only the index 0 of this. Index 0. Hook it up. Okay. So now only index 0 will actually activate once we do this, but the others will be disabled. So to test this, let us simply go and enable all the other canvas groups as alphas to 1. So when I press play, I might just need to set the references first, but oh no, yeah, I did already set them. So you see now on our game view, we basically did everything on the wake fast and on the state. So let's continue. So on button click for the play game state. Now I'm going to copy almost exactly the same code from the first one, from the title screens one. So on state enter. And now we want to do index 1 here. But as well, we also want to keep track of the difficulty setting that we are going to change as well. So in this, I'm going to add another on state enter. And let us get a list, a reference to our dropdown. First, might first need text mesh pro here. Text mesh. Oh, TMP Pro. TMP Pro. Okay. Then I do dropdown and call this difficulty dropdown. Private cellular shield. Okay. So now, on state enter, we want to check for if the value has changed. So we can use the on value changed event. And I'm going to subscribe to this with an add listener. Okay. So here's our subscription. So always remember to also unsubscribe from this as well. Otherwise it will cause memory leaks. So add on state exit. And remove and now instead of like adding the listener here, we are gonna remove the listener to it. Okay. So now we got this set up. So for now I'm just gonna do debug.log because then we can't actually don't have a game at the moment to actually just set the difficulty. So I'm just gonna do this in debug for now. Debug.log. Then use a switch statement. So which one was selected? So So 1, 2. So the first one is going to be easy. Medium. And hard. Okay. Make sure we also put in the unsubscription here as well. Okay, yeah, that part is done. Now we just need a way to go back as well, but I think we can make that as well. So GUI on button click. So we can go back to the title screen. So now we're gonna need an extra button on our play mode scene. So if I just do this quickly here. Put my canvas. Let us add a back button. UI button text mesh pro. Let's just call it back button. Back to title button. To title. Okay. Now on my main state machine, I'm gonna add another button, the one we just made, and put it in here. So this is gonna be element 3. So on button click, button list, get item number 3 or element 3, and take a transition. Now we're gonna go back to the title screen. So if I were to test this, okay, you can see we're currently in title screen state. If I press play, interesting. Oh yeah. There we go, now it's working. Okay, yeah, I just forgot to do that extra tiny step. Okay. Yeah, this needs to be enabled, not disabled. So now if I go press play again. Press play. We can select our difficulty. And now, and if I, once again, forgot to do it the proper way. Okay. Now it should actually be fine. Okay, so it's our main menu. Press play. You can select our difficulty from medium to hard. Should just throw a debug.log as of now. And when I say back to title, this should take us back. But we see we're getting an error here on the console as well. And that error is coming from, yeah, it's coming from our value port. We never assigned our text mesh pros thing. That's why it's giving us the error. Got to assign the references. Let's find the text mesh pro. Drop down. There we go. There it is. Okay. Save. Press play again. Sometimes the little things can screw you over when it comes to programming. So press play. Back to title. Now we see. Now we're back here, and now my menu, and it's basically fully unsubscribed from that drop down, so it can no longer be clicked as well. So it can no longer influence our game as well when we're in this title screen state. So now we're just going to add the quitting state as well. So let's say, for example, now I just want to do, so when I press the button for on click for quitting, yeah, that's just element 2. Yeah, I made a mistake here. Element 2. When we're in the quitting state, we want to fade now. So on state enter. Go ahead, let's get a reference to our canvas. We already have it, yeah. So canvas group list, get item 2. Okay. Since we want this to increment every single frame, we're going to need to put an update inside of the state. So on state update. Then we can do the alpha of this set value. And on the equals of the thing, we can actually do where in state of change, we can do add plus equals. Let's do time dot delta time. Let us do it. So yeah, just for now. Okay. And this should fade out our game when we go to the quitting state. Yeah, I don't think we're going to need to use the ending state here at the moment. So when I press play, on title screen, we quit. Now it just fades out. But we forgot one little step. We forgot to fade out our buttons now. So what I can do another for each for on state enter. Canvas group list for each alpha set value to 0. Box raycast also must be false. Also interactable must be false. Okay, and on the exit we just do application.quit. I already got a pre-made node if it was quit application. Since we don't want to go back from the quitting state to the title screen after we press the quit button, this should be now how our state machine looks like and how it should function. So press play. Main title screen, I press play. For here now we can select the difficulty. Hard, medium, and easy. As you can see in the console, it basically logs out what we are choosing for the actual difficulty of the game. When we press play game, that's usually where we're going to go and actually load the scene. So also, if you want, you can add another fade in to do the exact same thing in the quitting, but for the play game. Then we press play game and fade out the menu and loads the next scene. Or do whatever you want with that. So now if we go back to the title screen, and I say quit. Let's close this application. But in this case, we actually need to wait for this fading to be completely full. This is on state enter. So we can do a wait until here. Wait until. Copy that over from the event graph to the main menu state machine. Paste it in here. Hook it up. And now we can do if the alpha greater than or equal to 1, we simply quit the application. So now when I quit, fades back in and it closes into the editor. Okay, this concludes part 2 of the state machine tutorial. I will show some more examples in part 3 of what you can actually use it for in real world scenarios. For example, like a race countdown timer, more state machine stuff for the actual main menu, like moving platforms, etc., etc. Thank you very much, and I hope you learned something. Bye.